Today, I'll be sharing the recap of a chilling psychological thriller film named Would You Rather. Heads up, there will be spoilers ahead. The movie kicks off as Iris, a young woman, is being interviewed for a job at a restaurant. She has moved to town to care for her sick brother, Raleigh. However, she can't afford the expenses needed for his bone marrow transplant. Later on, Iris goes to meet Dr. Barden, Raleigh's doctor, who introduces her to Shepard Lambrick, a seemingly healthy and charitable man. Lambrick proposes a deal to Iris. If she participates and succeeds in a game, his foundation will cover Raleigh's leukemia treatment expenses and find a bone marrow donor for him. Iris is reluctant at first, but Dr. Barden tries to convince her, saying that he too participated in that game once and succeeded. As Iris leaves, Shepard hands him his card, inviting her to a dinner party the next night if she makes up her mind. As Iris returns home, she gets a call from the restaurant informing her she didn't get the job. Feeling responsible for her brother, she chooses to accept Shepard's offer. While leaving for the dinner party, she tells her brother she's going out with friends. Raleigh tells her that he could really use the alone time to play games. Maybe he just wanted to play with himself, if you know what I mean. Upon arriving at the Lambrick's mansion, Iris is welcomed by fellow participants, Lucas and Cal, who also introduce to her the rest of the participants. In a cutscene, Dr. Barden is seen disagreeing with Lambrick's choice of Iris, but Lambrick gives him money to maintain discretion. Meanwhile, Shepard prepares for the dinner and advises his son, Julian, to behave appropriately, reminding him not to repeat the incidents from the previous year. Next, a butler collects the contestants' belongings to ensure a fair game, and then guides them to the dining room, where they are seated and soon joined by Shepard, who introduces his son, Julian, and the butler, named Bevans. As they are about to begin the dinner, Iris informs them that she is a vegetarian and refuses to eat the meat on her plate. Shepard seizes this as a chance to start the game, proposing 10,000 to Iris if she consummates the meat. Iris agrees to the offer after another contestant, Linda, a paralyzed old woman, convinces her to make the compromise. Soon, Conway, another participant, admits he's a recovering alcoholic as Shepard notices that he hasn't touched the wine and presents two options: $10,000 for a glass of wine or $50,000 for a bottle of scotch. Conway chooses the $50,000 and reluctantly drinks the scotch. After the dinner, the game starts. It's a twisted version of the party game Would You Rather, where participants must choose between two unpleasant options and act on them within a specified time. Shepard gives them the option to leave, but no one accepts. The games begin as Bevans, who is an ex-James Bond, an ex-MI5 agent, enters the room with an electric shock device and two wired headbands. Conway tries to escape, but is shot by Bevans, causing fear among the rest. Shepard explains that all of them had already agreed to play the game, and now they don't have the choice to leave. Round 1 involves a player with a headband and a buzzer choosing between two buttons, one for self-shock and the other for shocking another player. Tough choices are made in turns. Amy, a young participant, shocks poor Linda, and Lucas shocks himself for Iris, while Iris chooses to shock herself. The round concludes with no eliminations. Meanwhile, Dr. Barden, filled with regret, grabs a gun and sneaks into Lambrick's mansion. Back at the mansion, one of the players, Travis, who is a war veteran, almost gets into a fight with Julian as they wait for the second round of the game. Next, the second round begins with Iris, making her pick between stabbing someone with an ice pick or hitting Travis with an African whipping stick. Travis advises her to whip him, as stabbing is riskier. Lucas also makes the same choice. When Travis's turn arrives, he is given the choice to stab Lucas or be whipped by Bevans. Travis realizes this is revenge for his behavior with Julian earlier. He accepts his fate and chooses to be whipped, but passes out soon after. The choice then shifts to Peter, a fellow contestant who is a gambling addict. He can stab either Linda's thigh or whip Travis again. Realizing Travis can't endure more whipping, Peter chooses to stab Linda, but he unknowingly hits a major blood vessel. Linda, unable to feel the pain due to paralysis, bleeds heavily. As her turn arrives, Linda quickly stabs Amy because she can't whip Travis. Linda later bleeds to death. Now it's Amy's turn. She can choose anyone to stab. Amy acknowledges that the game's aim is survival and stabs Iris on the side. Next, Cal's turn comes and he agrees with Amy's perspective. He selects whipping Travis, who has already fallen unconscious, resulting in Travis being eliminated from the game. As the round ends and Shepard discusses with Bevans regarding completing the game in time, the group plans to escape immediately. Lucas and Cal fight the guards, buying time for Iris to flee the dining room. As Cal proceeds to hit Shepard with the whip, he is shot dead. The remaining 3 survivors are then forced to stay at the table. Meanwhile, Shepard sends Bevans and Julian after Iris. As Iris tries to escape through the basement, Julian catches her and attempts to rape her. "This man just can't control that thirst!" Iris counters by stabbing his thigh with the ice pick. Just as Dr. Barden arrives to save her, Bevans comes from behind, shooting Barden in the head. He then returns Iris to the table for the 3rd round. After Iris is brought back to the dining room, Bevans tells Shepard about what his son did. Shepard goes to talk to Julian. Meanwhile, Lucas tries to ask Iris what happened, but she's too scared to answer. Amy speaks up, saying they have to keep playing the game to survive, and Iris agrees. Shepard comes back, saying sorry to Iris for his son's actions. Next, the 3rd round starts, with a choice between the known and the unknown. The known is to hold one's head underwater for 2 minutes. The unknown involves drawing a card with an unpredictable outcome, which could be dangerous or not. Peter gets the first turn and he chooses to pick the card. The card instructs him to set off an explosive firecracker taped to his hand. He hesitates, but follows the command. As the firecracker blows off to sever his hand, he collapses and dies of a heart attack. The next turn goes to Lucas, who also chooses the card, assuming he cannot hold his breath underwater. The card reveals that he has to slit open his eye with a razor blade. He begs Shepard to stop, but Shepard threatens him to follow the instruction or face death. As the 30-second deadline is about to end, Lucas quickly slashes one of his eyes. Following, Iris chooses to get her head dipped in the barrel, avoiding the unknown risk. She successfully endures the 2 minutes underwater. It is later revealed that if she had chosen the card, she would have been forced to have all her teeth removed. In the last turn, Amy chooses to go with the card, but she gets unlucky as the card reveals that she has to hold her breath for 4 minutes instead of 2 while underwater. Just as she's about to take a breath and brace herself, Bevans pushes her head underwater and she drowns to death within a few moments. The final round starts with only Iris and Lucas remaining. Iris wins the choice to make the final decision in a coin flip. And that is, if she would rather spare Lucas, allowing them both to leave without rewards or use a dueling pistol to kill Lucas, taking the money to save her brother's life. Lucas tries to persuade Iris to spare him, sharing the reasons behind his participation. He opens up about his family's hardships, comparing them with Iris's brother. However, as he is speaking, Iris suddenly shoots Lucas in the chest, killing him. Iris then breaks down into tears over the choices she had to make, while Shepard applauds and declares Iris the winner. Then, he allows Iris to leave with the money. He also reveals that a donor for her brother's transplant has already been found. In the final scene, Iris returns back to her home after the traumatic night and discovers Raleigh asleep in his bed. Then, she takes a bath to wash off the blood from her body. Later, in the morning light, she visits her brother's room. To her shock, Raleigh has taken his own life by overdosing on his medication. The movie concludes with Iris mourning beside her brother's lifeless body. Did Would You Rather leave you questioning the limits of human desperation? This psychological thriller has taken us on a gripping journey through a nightmarish game where the stakes are life and death, forcing us to confront the depths of our own morality. This film is a chilling reminder that sometimes the most horrifying monsters are the ones within us. And that wraps it up for this video. Stay tuned for more thrilling recap videos, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.